people were already demanding for refunds to their deposits even before the figure came out. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven, today with a new episode of which third-party resin figure brand is good. Yeah, this is only the 5th episode so far throughout this year. So I have like one episode every 2 or 3 months only. Okay, so for today, you're looking on my screen over here, 168 pictures right here, which I've compiled over the past 2 months or so. And there is one of you who emailed me on one specific third-party FGO resin figure. Yeah, so we'll get into that in a second. As well as, yeah, the main star of this week, Fallen Angel Studio, for a bad reason, right? Okay, anyways, we'll go in alphabetical order as usual, starting off with ABsinthe Studio. Now, I have reviewed their Jingliu figure. I loved it a lot. And it is great to see that they are being very consistent over here because their Yae Miko figure over here turns out looking really good. And there is a slight regret inside of me where I feel like I should have went for ABsinthe Studios version instead of Imagination Studios version. Not because Imagination Studio is bad at making figures, but that one had a design flaw, right? The figure falls over very easily. I actually reviewed that figure. Maybe I should have gone for this one or even chose some other brand. Yeah, because I want to try more third-party resin figure brands. Yes, sometimes with third-party figure brands, you go for someone or some company that is virtually unknown, their second figure. It can be a bit risky, but ABsinthe Studio, Imagination Studio as well, they now have a lot of figures out there, so you can judge for yourself whether it is any good to you or not. No problems over here. The only reason why I did not choose the ABsinthe Studio version is because I am not a fan of the pose, like, nothing special, yeah. With the Imagination Studio version, she is sitting on a very nice tree branch. Who knows, that was a bit of a bad purchase, but you know what? I have a friend who wants to buy it off me. Yeah, he wants the figure, so hey, some people will still love it. Moving on to the next one, ABsinthe Studio again, we have one single picture of their RAM. Actually, I will talk about a pair of RAM and RAM figures maybe next week. An old pair of figures, and until today, that is still my favorite pair of RAM and RAM figures. So we have way too many RAM and RAM figures out there, especially with price figures, and they are pretty good. And we look at companies like Furio, right? Furio and who else? I'm just too lazy to think right now, but even the expensive scale figures, right? There are too many figures of them. Price figures are even worse. So there really is no reason for a third-party resin figure brand to pick up this character, but somehow ABsinthe Studio did it anyways. And this is the kind of character where nobody really screws up her face. Maybe Ram's face is very easy to make into a figure, when you convert a 2D art into a 3D object. Some characters are harder than others. Ram is possibly one of the easiest, I suppose. So she is looking great over here, just that, a bunny girl figure. And even more so, a third-party resin, I'm not sure why you would get this when there are so many options from genuine brands out there, but who knows? Maybe, yeah, there will be people who like this figure over here, and feel free to get one. The moon base she is sitting on is, yeah, it definitely reminds me of that My Sakurajima figure by Spiritel. Yeah, the one where she is wearing Chinese dress, but hey, this can't be comfortable to sit on, man. Okay, moving on to the next one, ACG Studio. Okay, ACG Studio actually has a history of stealing artwork from Pixiv, and this figure over here is one of them. Yeah, I saw the original artwork in Pixiv. Did this figure turn out any good? Now, I have mixed feelings about this figure over here. Well, me reviewing this company and whether I support them stealing artwork, those are two separate things. Maybe they got the permission from the artist, who knows, because apparently it is a relatively famous artist who came out with this artwork, and people have noticed that, hey, this is based on a Pixiv artwork. Since a few months ago when this figure went on pre-order, yet the figure came out anyway. Maybe there is an agreement of some kind, I don't know. Anyways, I'm here to only review, like visually review the figure based on pictures over here. I think Shenhe and HeRa turns out perfect, but Guang Yu. What is your opinion over here? I think Guang Yu's face is a tad bit different from the art as far as I could remember so far. But if there is one specific part which I felt like could have been better, it is the mouth. Like, yeah, maybe she is making that dark face lip, right? Like you know, pushing out the lips like that. Yeah, I get it. That is what they're trying to do over here. But it looks a bit unnatural. The lip portion as if it is manufactured separately and glued onto a plain and flat mouth. It looks a bit like that. It looks glued on rather than actually the mouth being shaped into a duck. I mean a kissing lip shape, if you get my point over here. So yeah, my take on this figure is that HeRa and Shenhe turns out perfect, no complaints over here. But something is a bit off about Guang Yu's lips. But maybe this isn't enough to turn off people who want this figure. Because honestly, when I saw this figure went on pre-order a few months back, I really wanted it. Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing where genuine figure brands won't do because they have to follow the official artwork, the licensed artwork from Miwu or whoever that came up with the artwork. This kind of like three characters together doing a very hot pose, not something you see among genuine figures. Yeah, I like it, but this figure came out anyway. So can I recommend this? Really up to you. I think the figure turns out fine, though I will always be looking for something to nitpick on. Moving on to the next one, we have ACY Studio again. I think almost every episode I will mention them. They are known for their 1x4 skills. This is Yuki Kaze from the Taimanin RPG series, and she is turning out mighty fine. Yeah, I'm seeing a bit of resurgence on this Taimanin series. Maybe there is a new game, I don't know, because I don't pay attention to these things. Even among genuine figure brands, I'm seeing a few new Taimanin figures, yeah. But this is really good. Is this 1x4? I think this is 1x6, right? I mean, look at the humans behind, out of focus. I think this is a 1x6, not 1x4. I need to double check. But regardless, the figure is looking really good, yeah. Moving up to the next one, we have Ahri Studio Project. Okay, Katia Klein. Yeah, I've seen this name like 3 times or 5 times in the recent 2 weeks alone. Smartphone camera lens elongation. I can see a bit of it over here. Yeah, because you know the head looks a bit elongated, but this is a trademark smartphone picture elongation, I think. No, lens distortion. You see how elongated the forehead is over here. I think that is what we are looking at. But hey, Apex Toys is coming up with a scale figure of her, only an announcement back in WonFest Shanghai. We don't even have a prototype yet. As for this version by Ahri Studio over here, this is a huge figure. If I remembered correctly, this is a 1x5 scale. So if you love big stuff, this is still worth picking up because the figure looks great overall. Yeah, I don't really have much complaints over here. Color gradients on the hair looks fine. Details on her outfit, yeah, I don't really see much flaws over here. And this is the back of the figure. Yeah, I mean, look at these detail parts. They are precisely painted, and they should be because this is a 1x5 scale. It is big. So I'm not seeing much problems over here. Moving on to the next one, Alice 21 Studio. This is a studio, a third-party company that I have my eyes on. I'm paying attention to them because they seem to be making great stuff. Like, they are rising among the ranks that I would almost place them next to ABsinthe Studio by now in terms of their consistency and quality, based on these pictures at least. This is Kiana, obviously, from the Honkai Impact series. And oh, the face is great. I don't see any problems here. This is good, right? Not a figure that I would buy, but you know, look at the decal work on the sandals. Yep. the one I am paying attention on later, which you guys will see. Once again, different angle. Yep, looking great so far. Nice work, Alice21 Studio. And this is the alternative faceplate for the edgy version where she isn't wearing any clothes. This is as good as it gets, though I wish that the blush on her cheeks over here is a little bit more obvious, or a little bit more prominent. Yeah, I think the blush is there. It is there, just that sometimes it is also a problem, the photo itself, right? Photo quality, who knows. Okay, moving on to the next one. This is the one I have been keeping an eye on. I know you guys will go for Apex Toys version of Nicole Demara, because why not? Apex Toys is known to have a good track record. Now, Alice21 Studio, with this Nicole Demara, I believe this is like one of their first 3 figures they've announced, right? They are a very new figure company, and boy did they deliver. This is so good. Yeah, we have Ahri face over here, and then this is the smiling face. Jeez, you know what? This is a third party worth getting, even though you may have pre-ordered the Apex Toys version. Yep, this is the face over here, which I can only show you guys the face but not the rest of the figure. Unfortunately, I don't have closer pictures of her, but this is really good, man. For their first 3 figure, among their first 3, this is as good as it gets. I remember she wasn't too expensive, like $250 or $280. That is for the deluxe version. Which, with what you get over here, including an extra torso, extra body, and different heads, yeah, fair enough. And yeah, this one over here, this is from the same company, Alice21 Studio. As you guys can see, I'm focusing on them over here. Ellen Jo. And this is possibly the best looking Ellen Jo figure yet among the third parties I've seen. Yes. Of course, this is like a production picture from the factory. As you can see, the crocodile clip is still there where they are still painting the figure. And the sculpting part is spot on. This is fabulous, right? So if you pre-ordered this one over here, do look forward to it. You are going to get a great figure. Yeah, she is still in factory production. Man, I kind of want one now after seeing the picture of her face. Okay, moving on to the next one. AMS Studio, never heard of them. Uma Musume Silence Suzuka. This is something which I can't really recommend. I mean, if this was $200, I think nope. $150 is also a bit rough because this feels like a slightly better pop-up grade figure, no? Details are not particularly outstanding. This could have passed off as a prize figure or a pop-up grade that cost way less, but because it is resin, it is expensive, right? Expensive material. Nothing quite wrong with the face, just that, you know, for this level of craftsmanship, paying $150 and up is a bit not worth it, you know. Wow, I saved like 3 pictures by now. Yeah, no complaints about the face. I feel like the hair over here, the hair fringes, yeah, could make do with more details. And not much else to say. Moving on to the next studio, we have Arctic Wolf Studio, a studio that I mentioned almost every episode because they make a lot of figures. They release a few figures every month even. So, this figure can be had at 1x6. Is it 1x7? No, 1x7 or 1x4 if not mistaken. Obviously, the 1x4 is the glorious looking one. And with this studio, Arctic Wolf Studio, I mentioned it many times, don't really have to worry much, right? They get it right with the face most of the time. In fact, not most of the time, I think all of the time. I've yet to see a badly executed figure from them. So, this is a nice buy. I don't think there are any licensed figure of Teresa, right? I don't think so. Okay, moving on to the next one, Arctic Wolf Studio again, factory production picture. This is Firefly for wedding dress version. I think I covered her before in Figure News Fix. Look at that. There's nothing I can complain about, right? The face is good. Some of you might not like the blush. Like, I like it. right? But some people, they prefer it to be toned down a bit. This is more to personal preference at this point. Yeah, slightly different angle over here. What is this? Oh, okay. Move on to the next one. More pictures, man. I saved so many pictures. Yeah, gradient is natural. You know, there is such a thing as a bad gradient paint job. In some cases, in some figures, the color shift from a bright to a dark color, like the shifting is too sudden, right? This is a very gradual color shift, which is a good thing. If the shift is too sudden, then that is not very refined. Okay, and yeah, this figure right here, I remember her very well. Looking good so far, the progress from Arctic World Studio. Moving on to the next one from Atlas Studio, we have Arlecchino from Genshin Impact. This is pretty much identical to the official product picture as far as I can remember. Yep, factory production pictures. Okay, and then moving on to the next one. Okay, firstly, I received an email from you, alumnus one soa. Okay, whatever. Hello, I'm one of your viewers through YouTube. Tried to contact you via Facebook, but seems you have locked it. Actually, I did not lock my Facebook messages. And you know what? If you want to message me on my Facebook page, go ahead, right? Just that sometimes it will take me time to respond to it. And secondly, please be straightforward. Like if you want to ask something, just type everything. Just send me everything in one go. Don't treat it like a chat box. Like you type a hi and then you just go silent and then you expect me to ask you what do you want. Like if you want to ask something, just type the question straight away. I prefer if you guys are being straightforward. Yeah, it makes it easier for me, right? I'm a busy person. Okay, now back to this email over here. Do you remember this studio one called BC Studio? The one with the copy-paste polemic stuff. They had to close their sales on some figures. Yeah, I don't remember which figure was it, but they did not have a good reputation in the past. I think it was copying, right? Stealing artist artwork again, if not mistaken. Well, before they take down the sales, yeah, they did take down the sales. I managed to order one of the FGO figures they offered. If I am not mistaken, this figure over here is based on a garage kit, super limited garage kit that was sold in Wonder Festival only, if I'm not mistaken, because I've seen it somewhere before a few years ago. So yes, BC Studio is known for, recasting or stealing artwork. Anyways, that is up to you to decide whether to support a company like this or not. For me, of course, I will not openly support companies or individuals that steal artwork, but at the same time, I am not going to force my own moral compass on anyone. I'll leave it to you to decide. Okay, so I'm just going to objectively review these pictures or these figures as much as I can. I'm trying my best to be objective over here. Okay, honestly, I expected a low quality figure or messy in a way or stains stuff, bad quality control, but the figure is way better than I expected. I add you some screens so you can see yourself. Of course, when I ordered this, I had no idea it was stolen art, sadly. There you go. But well, it went well, I guess. Hoping to see your honest opinion back. Thanks for the email. Yeah, I'm actually kind of impressed by your courage, by the way. I expected the low quality product or messy in a way or stained stuff, yet you dropped over $200 on it. I respect your courage at least, right? I mean, when I see a company stealing artwork and then firstly, I would imagine them to make a very cheap copy, a low quality copy like you said, but it turns out well. The things that the 3 images you sent me are not very clear, but that is okay because I have gotten my hands on the pictures of this figure even before you emailed me. Just that your emails arrived at a very nice timing. So here, this is a factory production picture, and just as you said, she turns out a lot better than both of us expected, by the way. So, close-up picture. You know what? for being a recast, I don't know if it is a recast, maybe it isn't. Maybe they saw the Wonder Festival version and then they designed the entire figure in 3D software from scratch. Or it is also possible that, yeah, they got their hands on a limited edition and then they recasted it. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. But regardless of how I put it, like how much I want to criticize the company for doing stuff like that, the figure turns out really good and I'm kind of impressed. Yeah, I have a figure of Minamoto no Raiko from Max Factory, I think. Yeah, the swimsuit version. I liked that figure a lot. But if there is one thing I really wished was that for the figure to have a better pose, right? I mean, they based that character on the official artwork, I think. But I wished for an action pose like this, which we did not get in any of the Raiko figures released or made so far. So this is your only option, and thankfully she turns out really well. Yeah. As you can see from this picture over here, the purple stripe next to her bikini bottom, yeah, the armor parts, everything are very precisely painted. Sometimes it is not a good idea to judge someone too early, isn't it? Even though stealing artwork is not supposed it's not supposed to be a good thing. Can I still recommend it? I mean, yes, I cannot recommend people supporting stolen artwork once again, but you do you. Up next, Bar Studio. I've seen this name a few times. Yes, the figures, they make realistic faces all the way. 1x4 scale Raiden, Shogun, and very nice, isn't it? Not the kind of figure I would buy, but very nice. I'm looking at the precision of the paintwork over here. This is easy to paint at 1x4 scale. If it was 1x6, it would be a lot harder. Next one, Chiyu Studio. This is a licensed resin figure, right? Yeah, I think it is licensed because I saw Ami and HLJ taking pre-orders for this. Emperor's New Clothes. Yeah, isn't that BNHA character which is invisible? I don't know how this figure is being packaged in the box. It looks fragile as hell. I mean, the sailor uniform, right, the top part and the bottom part, how are they attaching to each other without breaking too easily? Is it magnets? I hope it is magnets. Anyways, the figure turns out good from the looks of it. Yeah. Maybe they are using magnets over here. Okay, wow, I saved like 3 or more pictures. The blue color is a bit dull, but it might be the lighting, right? I wish that the blue color is a bit more obvious that it is blue color, you know? Okay, next one here, Chuang Yi Studio, Tifa from Final Fantasy. Oh god, that face, man. You see, the problem with Tifa as a character is that every third-party resin figure company wants to make a figure of her because I think there are not many genuine figures of her other than the Square Enix trash out there. And despite so many figure companies are getting their hands on making a Tifa figure, not many can get her face done right for some reason. Yeah, and this one... Me, look at this. Once again, could be smartphone camera lens distortion again. But regardless, if I go back to the previous picture over here, it's not very good either. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one, Crazy Rabbit Studio. Another figure company which I'm keeping an eye on. They have this Fern figure from, yeah, Freewen Beyond Journey. I mean, so not Freewen. I'm so used to pronouncing the name in Japanese. Yeah. Those mummy milkers are too big that I had to cover them up, but that is not the point of today's video. We are here to check out her face, and Crazy Rabbit Studio has done a fabulous work with her face. This is as good as genuine figures, right? With the bonus of those mummy milkers which you guys love so much. Yeah, so if you pre-ordered one or you want to get one, then go ahead and pick up one. Yeah, this is good. Okay, moving on to the next one, Dodomo Studio. Okay, from what I have heard, Dodomo Studio has ran into some trouble with their production and a lot of their figures were delayed, right? which is why we don't see many new announcements from this studio nowadays. I reviewed their Marin Kitagawa. It was kind of a train wreck, and then they followed up with a figure of Power from Chainsaw Man, which was kind of okay, kind of decent. And I think a few of their releases after that, they turned out decent as well. But you know what? To me, it is starting to feel like Dodomo Studios figures, right? They often turn out a little bit worse than what was being promised in the product pictures, in a way where they still look alike to some extent. Like, you can't even complain that they did not deliver what was being promised, because the face, they do look alike now, right? No complaints on the sculpting there. But the paintwork, the shading, and everything else, it feels like, you know, it is a bit lacking in a way. Please don't be a Furio, Dodomo Studio, please don't. Furio has the same problem. They show you the figure this good, and then when it comes out, yeah, it is the same figure, but doesn't look as attractive now. And that is the feeling I got when I saw this Yao Forger over here. And unfortunately, this is the only picture I have gotten my hands on. You know, I don't want to randomly steal pictures from users online without their permission. These pictures came from OSGK, by the way. They are their own private group. So when their administrators or their moderators post the picture, I'll just take it off them, because, you know, they work for OSGK, so it is fine. Anyways, so with this Yao Forger figure over here, I mean, this is a low angle shot, so it is going to look a bit different from the product pictures, but I can tell the face looks really alike. The problem I have is with everything else. Her bodysuit, it feels like it is lacking a bit of crucial detail over there. I would like to see a bit more obvious shading work. In fact, it was way worse before this, right? On her stockings, I think they fixed her stockings, and now they have done a bit of shading work on her stockings over here. I'm not sure if you can tell, yeah, this region, they did some gradient work, but I think they need to be better than this. If I pre-ordered this figure, I would be a bit disappointed. Yeah, not good enough, Dodomo Studio. I mean, look at these parts over here. I think the base is the best looking part, right, in terms of paintwork compared to the main figure. This object over here, look at the heavy gradient work that is very nicely executed. This is exactly what I want to see on her bodysuit. Yes, you can shade black color parts, you can. And this part is just so severely lacking, which is a bit disappointing. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have Dodomo Studio showing off their Tatsumaki, which is in production. And once again, this is the kind of gradient work I want to see. It looks a bit like vegetable now, her hair, but this is what I call good paint work. Your Forger was lackluster. This Tatsumaki is turning out to look a lot better in comparison. And she wears a black dress too. Let's hope they get her black dress done right in the paint work. Okay, this is the base. Translucent parts and looking good. This is the arm parts. Well, you can't really say much or tell much from these pictures, right? Okay, moving on to the next one, Dragon Studio and Pop Studio. They have been around for some time, and there's nothing I can complain about their faces, right? This is pretty good, like pretty accurate to what we see in the anime. The thing with Rei, Ayanami, and Asuka, right? It feels like I don't even know what to say anymore when I look at figure companies, be it the genuine ones or the third-party ones, come up with their figures, because everyone seems to have their own art style that it is becoming very subjective. Even the genuine figures, sometimes they don't necessarily follow the anime character design 100%. They can be following a specific artwork, a novel cover, a manga cover, or whatever it is, that it feels a bit unfair to judge third parties based on whether, yeah, they did their face right or not. Like, in a way, whether they followed the anime or not. That is not necessarily the case anymore. Anyways, this pair of figures look great, but, you know, I'm simping Alta's version so hard. Yeah, the Asuka and Rei with that green color jersey, I like it so much, man. Nice pair. Of course, get the red and red color version. Don't get Asuka in that bikini unless it is included in the box. Okay, there you go. Black bikini doesn't look that good. Okay, moving on to the next one, Dtalon Studio and Corgi Progkit Studio. Wow, Lucy and Rebecca. From Cyberpunk. I like it so much, and the only reason why I don't have one right now, or after I saw the picture, is because I'm too poor. Yeah. Anyways, we can all settle for Animaster's version, 1/7 skill, 7,000 yen. Cyberpunk is all about all these fancy looking science fiction bikes, isn't it? And this figure comes with one. Yeah. There we go. Rebecca. Rebecca is a bit... Oh, middle finger. Extra bonus right there. Nothing quite wrong with her, just that I prefer ABsinthe Studios' version of Rebecca, right? It came out long ago and probably a bit rare right now. Nothing quite wrong with her, and since she is always flipping people off in the anime adaptation, yeah, this is nice. Oh, I see. She is sitting on the back of the bike. Two as a set, not complaining over here. They look great. Yeah, two different head sculpts. I'm not a fan of this one. I know it is just a different art style. It isn't bad looking, just that the hair... maybe I'm used to seeing this one, right? I'm used to watching the anime, so I'm a bit biased over here. This is not a bad face, just different. Yeah. Man, Rebecca is just an accessory. The main feature is Lucy and the bike, man. Oh, is this the base you're getting? That is a nice base. Are we actually getting everything in this picture, including that screen in the background? That would be dope, man. Oh, that is so good. Yeah, I would stick with this one. The yellow jacket, I don't know, man. It feels like something firefighters wear. It looks a bit out of place over here. Okay, more pictures because I love details. So when I see intricate details, I would save more pictures. You know, I like how the wheels appear a bit worn out. It is like not brand new. This worn out look is what I would personally prefer as well because it is more realistic. Yeah. Oh. Man, look at the detail that went into that cigarette over there. Alright. Nice work, Dtalon Studio. Nice work. Okay, I'm moving on to the next one. The main highlight of this week for all the wrong reasons. From FA Studio, we have Tifa again from Final Fantasy. FA Studio, or otherwise known as Fallen Angel Studio, but shortened as FA Studio. So this is actually from a post in Taobao, I think. Is it Taobao or Weibo? Could be either one of these two, right? So, when Fallen Angel Studio has not even released this figure yet, they were showing off their progression photos and videos in their social media. People were already complaining about how the face does not look like what was being promised, right? And people were already demanding for refunds to their deposits, even before the figure came out. And when the figure does come out, it seems like, yeah, they just pressed on. They did not rectify the face. The left one was what was being promised. The right two pictures, middle and right. Yeah, that is what you get. And it is obviously different from what was being promised. There was another content creator, which I wouldn't want to bring up his name because I don't want to give off the idea that I am trash talking other content creators or YouTubers or whoever that is. That is not my intention. So there were other content creators and also consumers saying that Fallen Angel Studio, they paid big money for a skilled artist to come up with a beautiful design, make false promises based on that, and when they mass produce a figure, they will switch to a cheaper artist. To me, that does not make sense because you are hiring two artists instead of just one. You are actually spending more on the manufacturing process of a figure, which probably only a few hundred copies will ever be made. That is not a wise financial decision in my opinion, so I don't think they switch artists just to save money on the figure later on. My personal suspicion over here is that, yeah, they hired artist A to create the design on the left, and maybe after they published the pictures of this product over here, there is a dispute between boss and employee. So the artist decided to quit and he took all of his designs with him. And even if you had a duplicate copy of that artist design, you don't have any rights to use it anymore, as per their contract, right? So whatever they promised to everyone, the customers, they can no longer use it, and then they didn't want to deviate from the schedule. They don't want to delay the figure. So they quickly looked for artist B, someone who is less skilled. They rushed it, and then this is the end result. They did not have time to refine it, because every artist have their own signature design. They have their own art style. No two artists are the same. So if you were to hire artist B and tell him to replicate whatever artist A did, especially on a face like Tifa's, where many figure brands cannot even get it right, no, they are not going to be the same. And of course, this is purely my own guess, my own speculation, my own conspiracy theory even, but that is what I believed happened. Left and right, different artists, something happens in between. So, after the figure came out, and that is what people are getting, there was an uproar over in Weibo where they were demanding FA Studio for refunds. Some had no choice. They were selling off their pre-orders. Figure collectors in China who pre-ordered this figure would proceed to flood the messages of FA Studio's Weibo account. At least that is what I heard. And then they responded by, shutting off everything. They closed their inbox. You can't even message them anymore. You can't ask anything. So it is like the customer service department stopped taking any questions, and that is one of the worst possible moves you can do as a company. But at the same time, I can kind of understand. I mean, if I did something really crappy and then I'm receiving 200 emails a day, how do you expect me to go through every single one of them? Not to say that I agree with FA Studio's actions, but I can kind of understand. So far, what has happened after that, I haven't gotten any updates yet. It is not like I pre-ordered this thing. I did not. The best thing for FA Studio to do would be to, either delay the figure or do a recall, or maybe just send out these figures to their customers as usual, and then the customers would have to email FA Studio proof of purchase, and then they would be entitled to receive a new head sculpt, head only, where the company will ship out to their customers who bought the figure. I think that would be the best course of action for FA Studio. Yes, it is going to cost them money, and probably there wouldn't be a net profit anymore, but they need to fix their reputation at least, because this isn't the first time FA Studio screwed up something. I think back then they had good figures. They released good figures in the past. I think their Mitra and Pyra, the 1x4 scales, they were kind of famous. And the figures turned out fine. Their faces turned out okay, unlike this Tifa figure over here. And once you lose trust, it is hard to build it back. Okay, so we had a long talk over here about FA Studio. And now we move on to FanArt Studio Berserk Griffith. Is this a licensed resin figure? I think it is, right? Can't remember. Anyways, man, this thing is huge. I think it's 1 meter tall, if I remembered correctly. I did cover this figure a few months back. Oh. Is there any battle damage effect? Actually, I would prefer some battle damage instead of brand spanking new armor, like what every genuine figure brands do. I mean, you buy any FGO figure, if the character is wearing armor, the armor is like brand spanking new. Sometimes I wish that we get a battle damage version. Maybe because I am a diorama guy and I prefer that. But not everyone else. This looks like something that cost $800. I think it probably was, right? The kind of detail you would see in 1x4 scale resin figures. No problems at all, looking good. This kind of scratches and scuff, I would love to see this in more figures, man. Okay, moving on to the next one, Feng Hua Studio. We have Alicia from Honkai Impacted. So many Honkai stuff. Picture is a bit low resolution and blurry, but okay, with Feng Hua Studio, they have been around for a while, And their figures are not the extremely expensive type. Like, even for 1/6 scales, they don't go beyond $300. They are like $250 or even less than that, $200 sometimes. So their figures are not the most detailed one out there. Yeah, $300 for a 1/6 scale is expensive. I know, very expensive, but we are talking about resin, expensive materials. And for a figure like this, which has a lot of stuff going on, I think her face turns out fine. Yeah, even the details. The thing with Alicia as a character, right? I've noticed this trend where almost every figure of her has a face that is darker than the rest of the figure. I mean, you look at the skin over here, and then compare it with her hands on her thighs. Yeah, the face is like 2 or 3 tones darker, right, in skin tone. And I'm not sure if this is a lighting issue with photography, or the figure indeed looks like that. And this is not the first Alicia figure to look like this. There has been a few with the same problem, so I'm not really sure what is going on. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, FWS Studio and ZZDD Studio with Runmei from Honkai Star Rail. Oh, this is pretty. This is really good. Look at the details on her outfit. Yes, this is a good buy. This is a good buy. There, this is what I meant by you can do shading on black color parts. Black color gloves, but you see this is, yeah, we have blue color undertones over here, right? Color gradients. This is what I want to see. Moving on, okay, we have more pictures. I'm looking for paint bleeding, you know, and all those are classic QC issues. Oh, this is just dust particles, nothing much. Okay, that is good. I won't nitpick too much. Okay, next picture. We have more over here, 1/6 scale. See, brown color hair, but you see all these tones over here, lighter brown, very dark brown. This is what I want to see once again. Very nicely painted. I have no complaints over here. Nice work. Right. Oh, more pictures. I love details, that's why. This is actual painting. This is not a decal. Yeah, this is masking, obviously. This is masking, so it is not 100% precise. But you know, the thickness of the blue color paint region, it is like very consistent throughout. So I wouldn't consider this as paint bleeding. This is very nicely done. Next one here, Hakimi Studio. Okay, Firefly again. This looks good. I think Firefly is also the kind of character where I don't see any figure brands messing up the face. Yeah. I believe this is just shadow, right? It is not like she has black eyes. In this picture, it almost looks like she has black eyes, right? Not enough sleep. No, I think this is just shadow because of her hands. It is a bit annoying. I mean, me as a figure photographer, I know it very well that not every figure are equal when it comes to taking photos of them. Some figures are a lot harder to take photos of because of reflections or shadows, unwanted shadows. I think this figure is one of those kinds of figures. Yeah. Shadow casted by her hair over here. It is not like her eyes are that dark. Alright, water effect base is not my favorite. Yeah, looks like slime, right? I mean, a lot of figure companies, including the Jennings one, they couldn't get water effect parts done right. Nothing new over there. Okay, pictures are starting to look blurry because I have exceeded the resolution, but I think she looks fine. And this does not look like a very expensive figure to begin with. Okay, next one here, Hello Studio, Cecilia Dot from Gundam Witch from Mercury. You know, Cecilia is actually one of my favorite female characters in this Gundam show. And man, she has been doing only administrative work all the time. She never appeared in the Gundam, I think, which is a bit of a shame. Now with this figure over here, Cecilia, obviously I cropped off at the crotch region for very obvious reasons. You already know why. What is up with her face? being darker than her arms and everywhere else, right? The skin tone is quite a bit darker. I don't think this is just lighting. I think the face is darker than her arms. Sunburn. Moving on. Okay, more pictures over. Yeah, I think her face is quite a bit darker. What is up with Hello Studio? Come on. This is kind of a simple figure. Why? I like the shading a lot, man, on her skin. I mean, look at the shoulder over here, the elbow region, and then her waist over here. The skin looks very realistic for a figure. Only for them to end up with a face that is 2 tones darker than her arms and the rest of her body, which is a bit of a shame. Okay, moving on to the next one, HeRa Studio. We have Reze from Chainsaw Man. Okay, HeRa Studio is a brand I'm keeping an eye on because I think they are doing fabulous work. The face over here, no complaints at all. This is the anime version. In the background, you can see the realistic version right there. Of course, I would prefer the anime version. I would like a bit more shading on her clothes, but she looks fine, right? Okay, next picture over here. So some third parties, what they do is that they give you a second bust figure and then you can change the head sculpt and still display the second head sculpt. I think that is brilliant. And every third party resin figure brands should do that. Yeah, don't give us 2 entire figures, that is too much. Do this, right? Next picture here, we have a direct comparison. And guess what? There is no contest, right? The anime version looks so much better. Next one over here, HeRa Studio again, Violet Evergarden. Wait, this is a product picture, right? Actual products, yeah, it is. I have said it like 5 or 6 times by now. Best 1x4 scale of Violet Evergarden is this one by HeRa Studio. If you like one and you can afford it, I think it is under 500 bucks. Go and pick one up before it is too late. This is another version of Violet Evergarden. You see, oh, nice work. I've ran out of adjectives to describe some figure brands who do an amazing work with their figures. Here we go. An actual product picture. Look at the heavy shading on her suitcase and her blue color outfit. Hands down, best Violet Evergarden figure at 1x4 scale. Not just 1x4 scale. I think among all Violet Evergarden figures, this is the best one. It is difficult for even the licensed genuine figure that was announced recently to even match this one, not to say surpass it. It is difficult. This is as good as it gets and I really want one. Man, I need to win the lottery or something. Moving up next from Hikari Studio, we have Kenma Kozume from HiQ. Yeah, I normally don't focus on male figures, but I just needed to show you this picture because this is so good, right? Good stuff needs to be shared. Jeez, this is too good. I mean, the best Kenma figure you can get from genuine brands is probably the Kotobukiya Art FXJ because no one else will make male figures, but this is like, yeah, the detail level is a level or 2 higher than what Kotobukiya offers. Nekoma. Yeah, this is pretty good. Alright, moving. Wow, I've saved so many pictures. They produced so many because the genuine brands wouldn't do it. Okay, next one here from Hourglass Studio, we have Saber Alter from Fate Stay Night. So what do you think about her face? I'm not a big fan, to be honest. Her mouth. Something not right with her mouth. I mean, I have so many saber-faced figures I get to compare in detail. And while this is not a bad looking figure detail-wise, I'm not happy with the nose and mouth region over here. It almost looks like she has just done sneezing. Like, no? Okay, impressive looking figure otherwise. I think this is a 1x4 or is it 1x6? No, this is a 1x6 judging by the size of the chair behind her. Okay, moving up next, we have HuiXiang Studio Violet Evergarden again. This is also a really good figure of her. I still think the HeRa Studio version earlier is a lot better, but it is not like this is a bad figure, you know. Who else will do a 1x4 scale of Violet Evergarden other than possibly HuiXiang? No one else would. And even if HuiXiang did, they would slap a bunny suit on her. Yeah, okay. Oh, more pictures. I'm glad I saved more. This is photogenic at least. I wish that this photo frame isn't behind her, just her, the chair, and that stack of books, and I would be able to build a nice diorama for her. Up next, Hun Yu Studio. We have Black Swan from Honkai Star Rail. Yeah, there is an official Black Swan figure coming from Alter, though that is probably 2 years away, you know, like 6 months or 8 months for them to get the figure painted and ready for pre-order, and then you wait another year for pre-order, for release, I mean, which is why I said she is 2 years away, the Alter version. Okay, this one, they got the face done right, and yeah, back then they messed up Hua. It is not like Hua was bad, just that she had ugly seam lines behind her, and people were complaining, and they were pretty rude in their replies, but that is the past. I'm looking at their latest products over here, and Black Swan, she is looking good, right? Looking really good. Hun Yu figure, they can make good figures actually. Hopefully that she doesn't come with ugly seam lines again on her back. Okay, next one here, Hun Yu Studio as well, Ruan Mei. Okay, I actually prefer the one earlier by FWS Studios. There's something a lot nicer about her face, right? These are actual final product pictures. Yeah, the face on the other version, the FWS version, is so much better. And this is a picture of her back. I think she looks fine, but this is a very simple figure, right? I don't think there is much assembly needed. Moving on to the next one, Illegal Factory Studio. Wow, they are already calling themselves illegal. You see this long silence over here? I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. It doesn't look good, right? It does not look good. It feels like looking at bootleg figures. Like a lower cost version of a genuine figure, which is lower detail. I think Shenhe's face, I mean, they have elongated it a little bit too much, I think. Yeah. Ganyu's face looks okay, and then Raiden Shogun looks okay. Yeah, I think the problem here is Shenhe. Ganyu's face is also a bit derpy in a way. Nope. Can't recommend. Up next, Imagination Studio with Hu Tao over here, and with this brand, yeah, I wouldn't worry about the face part. Man, since when did Hu Tao has such a nice pair of melons? Yeah, great looking figure. I've been talking for 1 hour over here. Sometimes I really don't know what to say. Oh, there is a normal version of Hu Tao. I mean, look at that one in the background, in the dark left corner. Okay, so you can display this figure differently, 2 different ways. Maybe this is the deluxe version where you get 2 figures again. Yeah. There we go. So some of you will prefer this one, I think. Yeah, this looks more like the actual Hu Tao, and very nice. No complaints. Alright, next one, Imagination Studio again, Bronya from Honkai Star Rail. Man, that spear over there. You know, I have 3D printers in my studio, and if there is one thing that I haven't mastered yet, it is printing, yeah, these very long and thin objects, because, yeah, it is not easy. Sometimes they distort very easily doing printing. Do you know how badly I want one? Yeah. This is just bad practice in general. Like, you have so many mass-produced parts, and then you throw all of them in one tray. If you are not careful enough, paint transfer or paint scratches can happen. Yeah, when 2 different objects, they rubbed against each other, paint transfer will happen. This is not a good practice actually, but a lot of third-party resin figure brands seem to do it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if they lie them next to each other, like in the background of there next to each other, that is fine, but you shouldn't be stacking them on top of one another. Paint scratches are going to happen for sure. I never had doubts about Imagination Studio. Their paintwork is good. Yeah. Ooh. Man, the day these third-party resin figure companies start making PVC figures, I would really go broke for sure. Like, imagine the very same figures we are looking at every week in my figure news weeks. Every single one of them being available in PVC and ABS. Okay, next one here, Guang Studio and FH Studio. Yuzuriha Inori from Guilty Crown. This is very pretty. Lovely face. Yeah. Solarin is giving us a genuine scale figure, so we will see. But this third party over here, they gave us what every other company refused to give us for the past decade. This is a good looking Inori figure. Oh. The Inori figure I wanted but never got. Nice paintwork as well on the hair. Look at the gradients here. I feel I'm repeating the same thing over and over. And the glossy suit. Oh, this is... Man, I feel nostalgic now. I want to go and rewatch Guilty Crown, which I do have a Blu-ray copy. Okay, next one here, Juju Studio Ryuge Kisaki. There are actually two figure companies making the same exact figure with the same exact pose over here. This is just the first one by Juju Studio. Spirit Demon Studio is also making the same figure. And apparently, the left one was before they fixed her face and the right one is after what you get. Like, are they even the same figure? The left one is not even a bootleg quality anymore. It feels more like intentional meme quality face. Like you give her a funny face on purpose for laughs, you know, for lols. Juju Studio, I mean, include both in the box, please. No, the left one would be really nice for meme materials. Include both in the box. Next one here, Les Studio, One Punch Man, Fubuki. Oh, I remember this one very well. Realistic face Fubuki. Not my kind of thing once again, but oh, the face is... It is pretty, right? Okay, I don't have much else to say, that's the thing. And this figure is going... It is going to run quite long. Okay, next one here from Light Team Studio. Yeah, these are from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, obviously. Whoa. Ho. Damn. See, with JoJo's figures, right? I think only a very select few figure companies have a license on them. And those who do have a license, they are not doing a very good job. They make very small figures and such. So 1x4, very obvious 1x4. I mean, you have this guy's head for comparison over here. Sometimes I'm a bit confused, like if they assemble all these figures like this and display it, and then they have to take it apart again when they put them into the box, like why would you do that? Yeah, because they wanted to take pictures, obviously. Up next, from Lulan Studio, we have Bronya again from Honkai Impact 3rd. I have spoken and discussed about this figure so many times by now, right? I mean, I even mentioned her even though I wasn't talking about the figure. Okay, so one of you, yeah, you actually put in effort to search for one of my older figure news videos, which is probably a few months old by now, just to comment and tell me that you purchased this figure and it was worth the wait because she turns out really good. Now, I really appreciate it, like you put in the effort over there to reach out to me. Hey, email me some pictures, some closer up pictures. I only have this picture over here. I want to see the figure. Yes, so I was a bit skeptical, admittedly, when this figure went on pre-order for around 360 bucks at 1x6 scale and you're getting everything over here. Sounds insane, especially when we are talking about resin, and she turns out amazing. Like one of this channel's subscribers said he purchased one and he's very happy with it. out of all of the Bronya figures out there, including the Imagination Studio one earlier, which is very detailed, the one that I want the most is this one. Yeah. Okay, let's see how much can I zoom in. Not much. Yeah, it is starting to turn blurry. Wow, the face is really nice, right? I want the figure, but man, look at the base. The size of the base. They have to make it this size, right? I know there is a lot of wasted space on both sides, this huge round space, but if the base was, it was oval like this, then the figure wouldn't be stable. It would fall over, right? They need it for stability. Okay, next one here from Miyin Studio, a brand we come across very often, a very common name. Murata Himeko from Honkai Star Rail again. My concern is only the face, of course. Okay, she looks great. I think we should be taking a look at the figure from that angle, the other side, not from this angle. I wonder if I have other pictures. Okay, we have a front view over here. Okay, the face is good. This is typical of Miyin Studio. You see, plain red color. Is this gradient? I'm not sure. It looks like shadows to me. This is pretty much the Miyin Studio I know. Yeah. The paintwork is not the most detailed, but they wouldn't do much wrong with their figures. Like a solid B-tier resin figure company. Next one here from Miwu Studio. Yeah, this Kiana figure from Honkai Gakuen 2. I remember her very well. And she is turning out fine. Oh, there's some nice makeup on her eyes over here. Eyeshadows. Torn clothes for, battle damage. She looks great. Of course, the torn clothes looks better, right? This is lacking in detail. Yeah, battle damage is nice. Man, I keep saying nice. I've ran out of words. Okay, next one here. This is actually one of my favorite figures into this episode. Yeah, Lulan Studios Bike Bronya is my absolute favorite, but this is close as well. And Takamati from Persona 5, I'll just call it P5. I think Amakuni and Mega House, right, had a scale figure of her, but those were like 1/8 and 1/7 respectively. This is 1/4. And bro, this is what I wanted to see from genuine figure brands. And once again, they wouldn't do it. Because it would cost like 70,000 yen. And from what I remember, this wasn't very expensive. I think it was like $450 or $500, but that was pre-order price. Customizable, obviously. This is a figure every P5 collector needs. Yeah, 1/4 scale of one of the hottest characters in Persona. Okay, next one here, more Huan Yuan Studio. Yeah, heard of this name a few times. Yamato from One Piece. There is rarely any Yamato figures that are bad, that's the thing. You're spoiled for choice. No problems over here. These purple violets over here, no, this is lighting, I think. This is rim light. This is not actual color of the figure. Yeah, but anyways, no problems over here. Next figure over here, Mitra from Xenoblade by Niji Studio. This looks like a 1/4 to me. Yeah, Good Smile, they re-released, right, that pair of figures from Xenoblade. I don't know how rare it is, but in my country, it is not too hard to find from local sellers. Unless you really want 1/4, I think the Good Smile options are all you need. Swimsuit version, swimsuit. You know, it is funny that female characters, right, the higher levels they are in games, the less armor they wear. Yeah. Okay, next one here, Noah Studio Yaemiko realistic face from Genshin Impact. It feels like, an easy way out from any criticisms about the face of the figures you make when you convert it into a realistic face. Now, I really like the paintwork on the hair over there, but that is it. This is like a figure of a cosplayer. Whew. Next one here, Pineapple Studio Anis swimsuit. It feels like bad timing for me to talk about this figure, review this figure right here, because Good Smile Company has just placed a figure of Anis on pre-order 1/7 scale for only 18,000 yen, man. Go and hit that pre-order button as hard as you can. Now for this one over here, Pineapple Studio version, obviously you wanted to undress her, then yes, you pick one up. Otherwise, get the Good Smile version. Nothing quite wrong with her face over here. This is for those of you who want cultured figures. There's something for everyone. Okay, moving on to the next one, Pink Bear Studio, Imbibita Lunai. I think Apex Toys has a scale figure of him, right? Yeah, but I wanted to bring up this figure simply because of how good his face looks over here. Yeah. I don't have much else to say other than him having a good face. I mean, a good face, yeah. Pink Bear Studio. That's not a name I've come across often either. Okay, next one here. Wow, Popsicle Studio, Ryuge Kisaki from Blue Archive. What is up with her face? Jeez, what the heck? You know, it feels like her face is too prominent. You know, the entire, we call it V2 and V3 in scientific terms, in medical terms. You know, the human face is divided into 3 sections, V1, V2, and V3. It feels like everything below V2 over here is all protruded to the front like a dog. Yeah, too prominent. No, this is not a good face. Yeah. Okay, next one here. Oh, this looks good. RO Studio, Evangelion, Asuka. Oh, I love that metallic shiny suit, man. It is my kind of thing. Face looks fine. Looks fine. Reminds me of my very own Asuka figure by Outer from many years ago. Yeah, the jersey version. Quite similar in a way. Okay, another figure of Asuka in different pose and setup by RO Studio as well. Wow, this is very heavy shading over here. Very nice. Please, anime face please, not this. Okay, next one here, Spirit Demon Studio. There you go. Their version of Kisaki. Is this Kisaki? Nice face though. Same figure as the other studio earlier. Between the two brands, actually, I would favor Spirit Demon Studio if you had to choose between the two. Yeah, Spirit Demon Studio, their figures, I mean, they have a track record by now. They have a few stuff out. You can look for their pictures online, and I would pick this brand over the other brand earlier because of, yeah, track record. Okay, next one here, we have Kamisato Ayaka from Sunbird Studio. This is not going to sell well. I mean, I see only like 20 copies in this picture. Maybe only 20 people pre-ordered it. The thing is that, you know, the Apex Toys version is so good that there really is not much else of a reason. The thing with Ayaka is that there are no competitors to the Apex Toys version, and the Apex Toys version is so good that you don't need anything else unless, yeah, you want the, once again, cultured version of your favorite anime and game characters. You want to undress them, then that is one thing. Now you put Ayaka in a JK outfit like this, then the figure is starting to look a bit too bland and boring. Next one here, Free Run from Thistles Thorns Studio. I actually had my eyes on this figure for a while. I think they are following a manga cover or something, right? The face is a bit different from the anime one, but at the same time, it doesn't look bad. I actually like her face over here. Yeah, it feels like a different art style rather than royally screwing up the face, right? Yeah, there are two versions. I like this version, obviously. I prefer the, you know, the default vanilla version if I had to choose, but this is quite nice as well. Okay, next one, same studio, Thistles Thorns Studio, Aris Boreas Grey Rat. Now, if you want Aris in this hoodie outfits over here, go and get the Q-Skill version. Yeah, this version by Thistles Thorns Studio, despite having done a decent job with Free Run earlier, this figure of Aris, not as good looking as the Q-Skill version. That's the thing. Skill is quite good with the paintwork. This one is lacking in shading detail. Next one here, Top King Studio Rei Ayanami. Do we have a closer up pic? Okay, this is better. A bit uncharacteristic of her, isn't it? Like, Rei isn't the kind of character that would act cute like this. Face-wise looks fine, but I just couldn't get used to seeing Rei with long hair. I still like her in short hair. More pictures. Yeah, it feels really out of character to me. Next one here, Melusine from Toufou Figure Studio. Yeah, bad news for them though. Good Smile Company is making this figure of this exact character. Like, same exact outfit, right? Is this the... What class? What servant class was this? Was it ruler? I think it's ruler, right? This version. I don't remember which class anymore. It is not like I play the game that much. Toufou Figure Studio. Face-wise, the figures no problems at all. Just that, yeah, bad timing once again. And boy, I think they received a lot of pre-orders. I mean, look at the sheer numbers they made. Because everyone wanted a figure of her, myself included. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one, TXS Studio. That figure brand that always makes very cultured figures. They went for this Monster Musume girl, and this is the kind of figure or character that no genuine figure brands would touch. And this is the kind of third-party resin figure you should be getting. Yeah, especially if you like this series. For me personally, I'm not that big of a fan of Monster Musume. I think it was okay, you know. But this is as good as it gets, I think. Yeah. Okay, next one here, Unique Art Studio. Okay, Yue Kui Bai and Mark from... Anyways, was this a licensed resin figure? I can't remember, because I think there is a licensed resin figure of her as well. Is this the licensed or unlicensed version? Not too sure. Face is very nice, very pretty. I love it. Yeah, this hairy thing over here, they look fine on 1x4 scales. But, you know, when these figure brands, they put it on 1x6 scales, it feels a bit out of place. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is the deluxe version. Jeez. $800, I think. This is painting. It would be nice if there is LED inside this statue, which means it is translucent, painted on the outside, and then there are gaps in between, and then yeah, you put LED inside. But this is painted, this is not LED, because if it was, then you will see the light spill over to the figure. You'll see an orange-yellow outline over here. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the okay, more pictures. Alright, this is a standard version, which is actually good enough if you have a lower budget. Okay, next one here, WakuWaku Studio. They are known for spamming new Anya figures almost every week or two. Now, their Your Forger over here, yeah, looks great. The only problem is, once again, competition from genuine figure brands which are already doing a brilliant job. Furio has a scale figure of her. Good Smile has a scale figure of her. Yeah. No problems otherwise. Oh, they are meant to be a set, right? Yeah, this is from the Code White movie. Do you prefer 1x7 or 1x6 for scale figures? Let me know down in the comments below. I think size-wise, the difference isn't too much, but personally, I would love to have 1x6 being a standard among genuine figures. But there must be a reason why 1x7 is the standard nowadays, and I'm not complaining. But 1x8 is indeed feeling a bit small. Yeah. Next one here, this is the last figure for today. Ship Ganyu. I believe this is a cheap figure, like $130 or so, right? Yeah, by Yao Meng Meng Studio, and yeah, this adorable face, no problems at all over here. She is looking fine. That is all for today's episode of which third-party resin figure is good. We had a few screw-ups that 2 Tifa figures, and then we had that that protruding face figure of Ryoge Hisaki, and then we had that bad-looking what's her name again? Genshin figure earlier. But overall, I mean, if you stick to figure brands that have a track record, Lulan Studio, ABsinthe, Imagination Studio, Spirit Demon Studio, and then yeah, FWS Studio as well. You stick to those with products already released out there in general, it is quite a safe purchase, right? I know FA Studio has been around for some time and they screwed up the face, but at the same time, fortunately, they shared pictures of their work in progress so that you are mentally prepared for the figure to be screwed up when you receive it. I'm not too big into 1x4 scales, but at the same time, I would love to get a few of these 1x4 scale resins someday. I think Nier Automata 2B is a guarantee at this point. I'm still, trying to cough up some money for one. And until then, that is all for today. If you found this video helpful or informative, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for anime figure content every week. Until then, I'll see you guys again soon. Goodbye.